The Black Clover movie just dropped on Netflix, a new chapter of the manga also just dropped, and the movie might have actually spoiled the end of the manga. There are many connections between what's happening in the manga right now and what happened in the movie. And the truth about Asta's ultimate power-up may have already been revealed, so let's get into it. You guys know how this works. If you enjoy my Black Clover content and you want to see more in the future, leave a quick like and comment right now. It helps me out a lot with that YouTube algorithm. And if you watch my videos but you haven't subscribed yet, do me a big favor and make this the video that you subscribe and hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications. Subscribing on YouTube is of course completely free, but it means a lot for the channel. Finally, this video will contain Black Clover manga spoilers and some movie spoilers as well, so please proceed with caution. You have been warned. In the previous chapters, we see that many members of the Black Bulls, led by Vanessa, traveled to the Witch's Forest in order to get the world's most powerful witches to help them create a long-distance magic portal that would allow Asta to come back from Hino country. These witches, including the Witch Queen and Dorothy Unsworth, set up an elaborate ritual that will allow them to create this portal through a super compound magic spell centered around Finral's spatial magic. And these guys really need to hurry because things are not going so well inside the Clover Kingdom capital. Not only is Lucius using clones to dominate the battle against his opponents, but the population of the capital has finally come to the realization that the main villain they are fighting is none other than the man they knew as Julius Novachrono, the Wizard King. This realization obviously sent everyone into panic mode because the man they had trusted to protect them, the strongest mage in the entire kingdom, seemingly betrayed everyone and became a villain. Marx uses his communication magic to essentially broadcast himself to the entire capital and explain that the Wizard King they know didn't betray them. Instead, his body has been possessed by a villain. That said, this villain is an insanely powerful enemy, and yet despite that, so many mages are risking their lives in order to protect the kingdom. Marx and Mimosa then start talking up Yuno as the hero who can save them all from Lucius. The main goal of this speech is to stop the people from panicking and giving up by holding Yuno up as the hope of the kingdom. All is not lost yet, and Yuno is the fearless mage that everyone can rally behind. Thanks to Yuno's spell, all the citizens now possess more power than normal, so they must use that power to save themselves and to save others. This speech is so powerful that even Dark Lord Seke himself finally decides to get involved, and he then proceeds to successfully protect some fleeing citizens from an enemy attack. And I mean, of course he's successful, it's Seke the GOAT, what else do you expect? Seke then decides to finally get serious, which means that Lucius is basically cooked. I just hope Seke doesn't take him out before Asta returns, because I do want to see full power Asta in action before the battle ends. And speaking of Asta, he and the Ryuzen 7 are ready to be transported to the Clover Kingdom. But then there's a problem. Damnatio Kira has been turned into one of Lucius's paladins, and he appears inside the Witch's Forest, determined to stop the teleportation ritual from taking place. Lucius had anticipated that this ritual would happen, so he dispatched Damnatio to the Witch's Forest just to make sure that the ritual fails. Lucius doesn't really care if Asta is dead or alive. The only thing he cares about is keeping Asta away from the Clover Kingdom. Lucius may be overpowered, but he's clearly not cocky. Some villains might want their most dangerous enemy to face them so that they can test out their full power on the enemy. We've seen that so many times in like Dragon Ball. But Lucius would rather play it safe and keep Asta's screwy anti-magic as far away from him as possible. A bunch of forest witches then attack Damnatio, determined to prevent him from interfering with the ritual. But Damnatio is able to easily erase their magic. As a paladin, he has the power to ensure that any magic used against him can be tilted in his favor through the power of his scale magic. So the witches fail in their attempt to stop him, and he proceeds to use the Guardian Angels to launch a massive magic energy blast at the exact location of the ritual. However, the Black Bulls are able to reverse Uno the energy blast right back at Damnatio and his angels. As multiple members of the Black Bulls emerge to fight Damnatio, including Vice Captain Noct, Luck, Magna, Charmy, Gauche, Zora, Sacre, and the Black Bull base itself, the latest chapter comes to an end. Since Finral, Vanessa, and the other witches who are important for the ritual haven't emerged to fight Damnatio, it's safe to assume that the ritual is still happening, and the Black Bulls are fighting Damnatio to hold him off long enough for the ritual to be completed and for Asta to emerge from the portal. I mean, yeah, we all know that Asta definitely will make it back and take part in the final battle eventually, but Tabata decided that he didn't want to make it too easy for us. He wanted to add some extra tension to the ritual itself by throwing Damnatio in the mix. And knowing the past between Damnatio and Asta, I guess it's pretty fitting to have Damnatio attempt to keep Asta out of the Clover Kingdom by any means necessary. Looks like we're about to see some epic Black Bull teamwork, which is something we haven't seen in a while, and I for one am here for it. I mean, yeah, Damnatio is definitely gonna get bodied and Asta is definitely about to come back, but I don't mind seeing the other Black Bulls in action before that happens. In the end, it's going to be Asta versus Lucius, but Asta won't be alone. Tabata didn't build Yuno up so much for nothing, and there are many mages that are going to have an important role to play in the final battle. And this brings me to the events of the Black Clover movie, which is called Sword of the Wizard King. I personally enjoyed it quite a bit, and I loved seeing some of the former Wizard Kings being introduced into the story. The most important element in the movie is probably the sword itself, known as the Imperial Sword El Sodokia. This sword was created by the first Wizard King, Lemuel Silvamillion, and it was passed down from Wizard King to Wizard King all the way up to the 27th Wizard King, Julius's predecessor, Conrad Leto. The crazy thing about this sword is that it's able to absorb and store magic power, and once a whole bunch of magic power is stored inside of it, it can be released with incredibly destructive potential. In fact, this sword is a weapon so powerful that it's said to have the capacity to destroy an entire country. On top of that, the sword is also said to contain a piece of every former Wizard King's soul and magic. The first Wizard King created the sword as a way to make sure that the Wizard Kings of the future would be able to use the power of their predecessors to protect the Clover Kingdom. But of course, Conrad Leto had other ideas for the sword. In the climax of the movie, Asta is able to take hold of the sword and use its magic together with his Demon Slayer sword and anti-magic in order to defeat Conrad. This was an epic finish in which we saw some of the Clover Kingdom's most powerful mages lending their own magic to Asta so that Asta could use both magic and anti-magic at the same time, which was really cool to see. But the more I think about it, the more this situation with Conrad Leto reminds me of the situation with Lucius. Like Lucius, Conrad wanted to destroy the world as we know it in order to create a new and better world where people could live happily and peacefully. He believed that a day of destruction had to happen, a judgment day if you will, and then after that, those who are worthy, aka righteous, would be reborn into the world and everything would be perfect and awesome. Also like Lucius, Conrad was able to gather a whole bunch of different magic attributes within himself and use them all against his enemies. And the amount of magic he possessed was so overwhelming that even anti-magic alone couldn't cancel it all out. Asta had to use the most powerful weapon in the kingdom, the Sword of the Wizard King, and the magic contained within it in order to finish Conrad off. Anti-magic alone was not enough. I don't know about you guys, but this is basically how I was expecting the final arc in the manga to end. I expected Asta to play the main role, of course, but I believe that his anti-magic alone wouldn't be enough to stop Lucius, since Lucius possesses just insane amounts of magic at this point. I expected this to be a team effort which involves other powerful mages lending their magic to Asta, Asta then combining their magic with his anti-magic to create some sort of black hole magic, and this black hole magic is then able to consume and destroy Lucius despite all his immense magic power. But now I feel like this might be too similar to the ending of the movie. So, is the manga ending going to be different somehow, or did the movie just spoil the ending of the manga? What did you guys think of the movie? Will the main story end in a similar way? And if not, then how do you think that the Black Clover manga will end? How will Lucius be defeated? Let me know down below. If you enjoyed this Black Clover video and you want to see more in the future, leave a quick like right now. And of course, if you watch our Black Clover videos but you haven't taken the time to subscribe yet, do me a big favor and make this the video that you subscribe and hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.